Hello, wonderful universe. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we're going to be talking about wood Betony. And the wood Betony I'm talking about is Stachy's officinalis. It is not the one that grows in the American Southeast, the pedicularis species. We're talking about the one that is a native to Europe. And we're going to talk about the lore. This is going to be the first video in a series of videos for wood Betony. And as I do each video, the plant's going to get bigger and we're going to talk about different things. Today, lore. In the next video, the medicine, or some of its traditional medicine uses. And the last video, a little bit of its magical uses. And as these videos go, you'll get to see the plant grow and its different stages so that you get to know the plant intimately on a deeper level. And I always like to think about and talk about plants because even though I'm an astrologer, the plants are grounding and healing, and I feel like when you combine the two, both the stars and the plants, you remain balanced, grounded, rooted, yet still connected to source. And so with that, like I said, this is Stachy's officinalis. Right now here we're in the Midwest and it has been very cold, and it is April 17th, and this plant is actually at least a second year plant, if not a third or fourth year plant. It's a perennial, so if it was a new baby, it'd be much smaller. It'd have only like a few leaves on it. And as you can see, this one is well established, even though right now there are not many plants that are green here. With that, let's talk a little bit about the lore here. It's been used throughout many cultures for a long time. Some of the other common names for it are bishopwort, lowswort, and purplewood Betony. And actually, it has a long tradition of use within the Greek and Romans, or ancient Greek and Romans, and it was one of their favorite herbs. Emperor Augustus actually wrote that there are 47 uses for this plant, and that's quite a few uses. If you're familiar with herbs and herbal medicine, you know that a lot of plants are versatile and can do many different things, but 47 uses is a very high number for a plant amongst the herbal world. Even though, like I said, many have a lot of uses, 47 is quite high. And so it also was called, in the Greeks, medics, it was called a psychotrophon, which is meaning soul nourisher. So on an energetic level, this plant is considered a soul nourisher and a supporter, and that weaves in with some of its magical uses. But I find it fascinating that even back then they saw that this was supporting the soul. It was also traditionally burned on bonfires at summer solstice, where people would actually jump over the fire when it was the plant was smoking as it was burning, and that was the smoke was supposed to drive away evil and ill health. And you have to remember, in ancient times, often sickness was seen as evil spirits, evil energies, and the same with depression, melancholia, that there was darker energies hanging around. And so it's interesting to consider that the plants have traditional uses and then also current medical uses that people are finding. They actually help some of these things, but there's a scientific now explanation versus a more connected, spiritual, observational use. It was also, interestingly enough, said to help with mysterious diseases known as elf diseases. So if you think of elves, they're considered trickster energy, and so they can help with that trickster energy. It's also said that it was, besides St. John's wort, one of the most prominent herbs in all of Europe to drive away evil spirits. Energetically, kind of moving forward, the wonderful herbalist Matthew Wood talks about wood Betony as helping those who feel like they've been abducted by aliens, or who believe or have been, depending on who you are and your beliefs, have been abducted by aliens. And so for people who are out of their body, who have been taken away, and I like to think of it too as people who also don't feel like they belong here. Sometimes people feel like they're an alien in a human body, and so this plant is said to be useful for these people because it helps ground you and root you into the earth. And what a wonderful plant in this spring to try to connect with and to root and ground. And then if you take a look, we're going to zoom in a little bit on this beautiful little plant. You can see that the leaves look a lot like tongues, and it is a medicine of the heads. And so traditionally in the lore, it was used for all kinds of head things. And again, like I said, this is a traditional use, just citing some history here, that it would be used for concussions, headaches. People actually used it dried up as snuff for headaches, as well as using an infusion of it. Anything involving with confusion or depression, and including hysteria. So these are just some of the lore of wood Betony. There's a lot more out there because it was so heavily used. And like I said, this plant is a perennial, so it comes back for many years. It is not native to the United States, and you won't just find it growing throughout yards spreading unless you plant it there. But once you do, it is a mint and will spread. I hope you enjoy this video and you enjoy the lore. We will touch base once again when the plant is bigger, and we'll talk more about its medicinal uses. Ciao for now.